to establish this equality here, we're just going to take this function and plug it in into this left side of the equation and see if we can simplify it down to this right side of the equation. So first of all, let's look at these different parts. We've got f of x plus h, and that just plugs x plus h in everywhere we see x. So that's 1/2 to the x plus h. And so we're going to take that and plug it in there. So we've got 1/2 to the x plus h, and then we're subtracting the function. So minus 1/2 to the x, and then divide by h. And we're going to see what we can do here. And notice that we have a 1/2 to the x plus h that we like out here. And so we're going to see if we can maybe factor that out from this and see what happens. So we're going to pull out a 1/2 to the x plus h and see what we're left with. Now right here we're obviously left with just a 1 because we pulled out that entire term, and then minus, and then here we need to figure out what we're left with. We have 1/2 to the x, and we're factoring out 1/2 to the x plus h. And when you factor out something, you subtract the power that you pulled out from the power that was there. So we've got, I'll write this out, we've got a 1/2. Okay, we had to the x, but then we pulled out the x plus h, so we need to subtract x plus h. And this is all divided by h. All right. Now, 1 to the x plus h is simply 1, because 1 to anything is 1. So we've got 1 over, and then 2 to the x plus h. And then we've got 1 minus. And now this exponent simplifies quite a bit. We've got x minus x, so those cancel. And then we have a minus h, so to the negative h. Okay. Now I'm going to try and write this in the form that they've got here. So I'm going to pull the 1/2 to the x plus h out in front of the entire thing. Okay. And then I have a fraction left. I've got 1 minus. And then here's the beautiful thing. We've got 1/2 to a negative power. So negative powers simply flip the fraction in the base. So that becomes 2/1, which is just 2, to the h. And then divide by this h. And that's what we were trying to establish. So we're done.